All right, let's move on to the Ottawa Senators. And we thought that this would be the year that Ottawa takes a jump forward and makes it into the playoffs. Look, it's been kind of a disaster of a season for Ottawa. DJ Smith goes out the door. Before the or early in the year, Pierre Dorian is let go as well, the general manager. I think everyone is just kind of in shock in Ottawa. It's been better the last little bit. What do we have to say about the Senators? Because we were dead wrong about them as well. And they're in dead last in this division, 6 points behind Montreal and Buffalo in last place.
Yeah, this has been very disappointing. And this is the season that we really expected them to step up and become a playoff contender. On paper, I would say they are exactly that, and it's just not worked out this year. Goaltending has been incredibly poor.
Abysmal.
Across the board. 3 goaltenders have struggled for them, and it really hurts that you bring in one of them as, the solution to your goaltending and to be your starter, and he is the maybe worst in the league this year in Korpisalo. And the team just leaks goals. They don't play great team defense, and then they get scored on because of poor goaltending. It's just compounding problems. And they're in an absolute anomaly to the fact that they're last in the division, yet third in the league for goals above expected. So they're getting kind of lucky in the goal scoring department and then just bad everywhere else. They started off the season great, and I thought, yep, this is the year, like on fire. But then, things just kept going wrong. There's always been injuries with this team. It seems like they have the injury bug every single year. Pinto's gone for the start of the season. That doesn't help. Just so many issues. And something that I've been noticing and talking about lately is like Brady Tkachuk is a good hockey player. He needs to be on the ice. Mm-hmm. I get the grit and I love the passion and everyone enjoys watching that. But the thing about Matthew Tkachuk that makes him so good is he's a son of a gun out there, but he kind of stays out of the penalty box in terms of fighting and he's on the ice to score goals. Well, Brady Tkachuk has to buy into that because he's fighting too much, in my opinion, and they need him on the ice. But time
and place is a real thing for Brady. Matthew has it figured out. Brady, not so much.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I could keep going, but I have no solutions for this team at the moment. I think on paper they're a great team, and it's just not working out.
Yeah, I would actually push back on one of the points you make, Case, that they don't play good team defense, because the numbers suggest they don't give up a ton defensively. And I think their D-core is actually really good. They have guys who can defend, but they also have guys who can score too. Like, think about Chychrun, Shabbat, Sanderson. All of those guys can be offensive, and they can play defensive at times too. So I don't think they're giving up a ton of chances. They've just had terrible goaltending, and the other big issue is they can't score. So when I hear rumors like, at the end of the season, like in the off season, this team is looking to sign a guy like Chris Tanev, I just think that is the opposite of what this team needs. They need another driver of offense. Like, sure, you're getting great years out of Claude Giroux, but he's not getting any younger. Sure, you've got Brady Tkachuk, who can be good, but he's in the box half the time, as we talked about. Really, offensively, your main guy is Tim Stützle, and nobody else is really contributing at the clip that you would expect them to or need them to if they're going to play like consistently in your top 6 on a contending team. So I think they need offense, or at least need to figure out a new system to start generating offense and scoring, because like you said, they're scoring above expected. They're not generating a ton. Like, it's just one of those things. They need scorers, and maybe they thought Tarasenko would be that guy. Maybe they thought DeBrincat would be that guy, but I don't know, man. I think the issue is deeper than just adding a peripheral guy to this team. I think they need a big shakeup, and it has to happen on forward.
I'm talking team defense. I think that their D-core is good, right? Mm-hmm. But I just feel like every time I've turned on a Sens game this year, I'm seeing them turn over the puck in their own zone. And and kind of collapsing once they turn over the puck. Like, it seems solid until the turnover happens. But I don't know. I've watched maybe 6 Sens games this year, so I'm not an expert.
To be fair, I've watched the only time they've played the Leafs. Like, I only watch them when they play the Maple Leafs. I'm just looking at the underlying numbers, and I see that they're 6th in the league, 6th best, that is, in terms of expected goals against, meaning that they're not giving up great opportunities, and, they're also not scoring. So I think that's the problem to me, just looking at the numbers. I'm sure a Sens fan might say something different, and maybe that's where this whole Chris Tanev thing came from, but I don't know. I don't think that's the issue for them.
Well, and as weird as the Tanev thing maybe is, I mean, that's not a move that's happening in season because the Senators are way out of it. They're not going to be a playoff team, and of course Tanev wants to go to a contender, and I believe will end up on a contending team come trade deadline. But I do get what Staios is thinking by adding good pros to this lineup because look, Tkachuk, Stützle, Norris, Batherson, Sanderson, all these guys, like, they're still really young, and it can't be all on Claude Giroux to lead. And not saying that Brady Tkachuk isn't a great leader, I think he is, but the more good pros you can have, the better. So I do get it. And again, I do think Staios has done a good job, just trying to calm the waters a little bit and, evaluate things. I like what he's done with Jacques Martin and bringing Alfie onto the bench and, just to try and stabilize things a little bit. And lately, it's been better. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10. They've won a couple of games in a row. But again, the 2 words that I use to describe the season for Ottawa, shell-shocked. I think the whole team, everyone in that room is just shell-shocked with the way that this year has gone. And look, not to continue to beat a dead horse, and that is Pierre Dorion, of course, the ex-GM of the Sens, who I'm referring to. But we're really seeing how a lot of his moves have really been detrimental to this team and have really set them back. I mean, this thing should be further along than it is, and again, a big part of it is the goaltending, like you mentioned, Case. I mean, it's been absolutely abysmal. And again, going back to Pierre Dorion's moves, you hate to kick a guy while he's down, and you never want to see a guy lose their job. But why would you give Korpisalo a 5-year commitment when he's not even a proven starter in the National Hockey League? Like, he just isn't. I don't get it. And that's one of many moves that he made that have been detrimental to this team. We mentioned guys like DeBrincat and Tarasenko, and like, the Senators weren't ready for moves like that. And now Staios and Andlauer have to come in a really tough cap situation, which, by the way, Dorion screwed up in the offseason because even if they wanted to sign Shane Pinto, they couldn't because they didn't have any room. Mm-hmm. So just the mismanagement from the beginning has really set this team back. And again, not trying to kick a guy while he's down, but this is the reality that the Senators are faced with. So I do believe in Steve Staios and sort of his vision moving forward. But yeah, I mean, the Senators are going to have some big questions to ask and big decisions to make in the offseason. There's a good young core there for sure. There's a lot of talent there. This team is going to be better. They could be a playoff team as soon as next season. But yeah, we did not expect it to go this way in Ottawa. And I think at this point, the year just kind of needs to be done. Even though they've been a lot better through their last 10, it just needs to be done, and they need a reset. That's where we're at in Ottawa.
Nah, they're buyers at the deadline.
Yeah, apparently. Like, no, they're done. And Harb, I keep thinking back to something you said in the preseason episode that we did on The Atlantic. You said the story of the Senators is, they want to be a playoff team, but they can't afford to have a bad start and then lose the season. Well, that's exactly what happened. Like, you can't Like, this division is too competitive. You can't take a month off and expect, something to just figure itself out, especially when you're one of these teams on the bottom who's trying to get to the top. Like, it doesn't work. And man, the Sens are in shambles. Like, I don't know what they're going to do next, but something has to change next season, because I don't know how you sell that. You can't bring back, I mean, like, this is ridiculous coming from a Leaf fan, but like, you can't bring back everybody and just say it's going to work this year, like that's why I say it's ridiculous coming from a Leaf fan. But you know what? At least the Leafs make the playoffs every year. The Sens, they're not even sniffing it. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. No, it is. But look, there's too much talent there and too bright of a future for, that young core for them, for this to continue, essentially. So, it's going to be really interesting to watch the Senators as we move forward here.